Hey, it's Lomantini lit up, and here is what I am lit up about. I am happy and so excited to be back behind this mic. I took a little bit of a break, had some things going on in life I needed to take care of, so it made it kind of impossible to be here at the moment. But now I'm here, and things are getting back in order for me, thanks to a lot of people out there, and you know who you are. And that's what's really been interesting, and some things I want to really discuss and really kind of get into as far as where's Patrick's at in his, recovery. And I was going to change my podcast name and I was going to do all this stuff going on, but you know what? I've had Lomantini lit up for so long, and I've been doing the Barkaid bites and the stuff with Barkaid. I'm going to stick with my stuff and expand on Lomantini lit up, because a very good friend of mine, and where Lomantini lit up came from, was a very good friend of mine named Alan Ram out in Phoenix, Arizona. God rest his soul. He died way too soon in a plane crash. He was flying from Phoenix, Arizona to Los Angeles, and plane had some electrical issues and went down in a golf course in Arizona. So God rest his soul. I love you, Alan, if you're listening. But he had a podcast that he did. He was in the automotive business, and that's how we met 30 plus years ago. He had a podcast called Ram on Fire. And I loved it because it had the flames and it had him, and he had a subject and things that he was talking about. So that's where I'm going. I'm going to continue and expand on Lomantini and Lomantini lit up, brand it, rebrand it, push it out there, merchandise, swag, everything you can imagine. And we're going to tag that with the whole suicide prevention and how important that is. Because what we're doing here and what Patrick and Lomantini has come through is from suicide to salvation. That's what's going on. Patrick went from suicide to salvation. And it's the salvation that I want to focus on, not the suicide. And just like my good friend Jeff in Austin had mentioned, and I mentioned it to you guys before, but I'm going to say it again, and it's the suicide to salvation. It's the suicide you don't want to focus on. Suicide and that nasty attempt that I did back in March was a moment in time. Just like divorce, or it's a moment in time. And it's not that moment that you want to focus on. Yes, I survived. Yes, it was ugly. Yes, it was unbelievable and horrible and everything that was involved with it. But it's the journey from there. It's the recovery from there. It's the journey from it. It's the learning from it. It's the life lessons from it. My journey and my relationship and my redemption with God. That's the part that I want to share. That's the part that's important. Not the other stuff, not the actual suicide itself. But because of that journey and because of those things that I've learned, how can I help others not go down that road so they don't have a story like that to tell? It's not a story you really want to tell. It's a terrible story had you not recovered from it. It's a horrible story if you did nothing about it and stayed where you were. It's a horrible story if I actually died. It's a horrible story if nothing changed from it. And that's what is so important to me about this journey and my recovery, is about sharing it with you through the accountability and that I wanted to tell you all about. It was all about transparency and accountability. And I was sharing it like crazy coming out the gate with you guys on with my phone, and coming out the gym, wherever I was, at the barbershop, and thoughts that came into my head. And a therapist said to me something very interesting, is that your immediate need to share, and I'm speaking to a lot of you out there, not just me, your immediate need to share, your immediate need of urgency is a form of trauma. What? It's a form of trauma. Let that sink in a minute. I'm like, wow, how is that possibly a form of trauma? Your immediate need to share, your immediate need of urgency, your immediate need to be in front of, out there in your face, out in the public and social media. And it just kind of sunk in. I'm like, wow, never really thought of it that way. Why do you feel like it's a need to urgently share a thought in your head and put it out on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram? Or I didn't ever think I would have an account on TikTok, but I do, because I want to share this message. Even on LinkedIn, I want to share the message to so many platforms, knowing that, help is out there. People can get the help and things that they need so that it doesn't happen. So that's why I backed off. I'm like, maybe she was right a little bit. Maybe, internalize this a little bit, get through your journey. It's not really a get through a journey. The journey is ever ending. It's never going to end. It's constant until I do actually pass away by the hands of God, not by my own hands. And that's what's important about this whole thing to me right now. So I wanted to share that with you. And I've kind of related this whole situation to a football game. And that was a great analogy for me because it kind of puts it into perspective. And I've shared it with you and I shared it with a lot of other people. But that's really what 2023 is to me. This thing, I'm sitting here August 30th, and tomorrow, August 31st, is the beginning to the end of some legal issues to this whole thing. And we just got to get through that. And that's the last piece of this puzzle and the last section of this 2023 horrible football game that I intend to win. But I'm down 48-30. It's a great score. It's a horrible score when you think about it, but it's a great score because I was down at halftime 48-0. But I've got Jesus as my quarterback. And part of my redemption, part of my surrender is he says, hold my beer, give me the football, I've got you, get out of my way. And that's the biggest issue, I believe, as humans, is that we can't get out of our own way. And I'm a complete example of that. Get out of your own way. Get out of your way and let Jesus take the wheel. Let him take over. Let him give him the damn football. Let him go down and score your touchdowns. Let him put you back in position. Get out of your own way, surrender, redeem yourself. And so September is going to be that last 4 minutes of the third quarter. September is going to set the stage for the fourth quarter of this football game that started out horrible. 48-0 at halftime. Bad decisions, injuries, bad play call, period. Just horrific. No support. Trying to do it all on your own. You're a one-man show on a 12-man team. Doesn't work. But I got it together. I survived the halftime. I survived it, got up, stood up, asked God for his help, redeemed myself, surrendered myself. I can't do this without you, Jesus. Give me the Holy Spirit. Fill me with the Holy Spirit. Let's get back into this game. And here I am, September 1st, coming around the corner, just 2 days away from now, and I've got 4 minutes left in the third quarter to set the fourth quarter right straight. And I'll keep you informed of that. It's going to rock, and I'm going to win 2023. Period. Think about it. I have survived the loss of a relationship that I adored. I survived a very ugly, nasty suicide attempt. I survived homelessness. I will and am surviving the legal issues. I survived and looked the devil in the face and basically said, F you. I got this, not me. You're not taking me. Jesus is my man. I survived. I am a survivor. And I want to help others survive and also not get to that point. That's what's important to me. And what's really amazing is like what happened to me back in March was like a train wreck. Everybody wanted to see it. Everybody wanted to know what was involved. Everybody wanted to see the video. Everybody wanted to, share it with people. Oh my God, look what happened to Patrick. A lot of people wanted to reach out. What happened? What happened? And that was great. It was a lot of good feeling, a lot of heartfelt stuff, a lot of people saying really good stuff. And even those that I wanted to share all of it with, and I think I shared it all with you guys. I mean, look at the previous podcast. I don't even know what month that was, back in February. That explained everything. What happened, how it got there, and how I went off the rails, and how I went down the depression spiral staircase and did what I did in March. What happened back in January broke my heart. It hurt so bad. I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't forgive myself. So I did what I did to myself. And what I did to myself, no other government agency could punish me more. No government agency, county, state, doesn't matter. You could not punish me any more than what I did to myself on March 19th. So, I mean, that's why it's all there. You can go see it. So people, even when they knew what happened, there was so much support because what I did is no different than a lot of relationships. There's a lot of them out there that are a lot worse. But that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse at all. But I did what I did. I did what I can to myself. But you get through it. And by the grace of God, I could not have done it without him, without the support of a lot of people. And that's where a lot of this comes from. You cannot do this by yourself. You cannot recover by yourself. You cannot walk this earth without interacting with other people who want to help you. That's how Jesus made it. That's how God made us, to interact with one another, to help each other, to love one another. Not the guy down the street, but the guy right next to you, even though you may not like that motherfucker. To love him. And that's what this is about. Me loving you, me loving the people that I hurt, me loving so many people that I would not love in the past, just to clear my own conscience, to take that burden off of my heart, and moving on through the rest of my life without that heaviness. It's not good. It's just terrible. So I got rid of the heaviness and just love them, regardless of what they've done to me, and the retaliation and the loss. And so that was probably the toughest thing. And then realizing a lot of people are like, yeah, we get it, Patrick. We understand you, Patrick. We're here to help you, Patrick. Well, let me do what I can. But then you also realize that everybody has limits. We're all human. We all have limits. I can help you this far, Patrick, but I can't go any further than that. I can help you this far. I can do this. I can do that. I can open this door and all that stuff. And I can't tell you, I've lost count of how many doors were open for me that once were closed, or doors that were open that slammed in my face. And when they slammed in my face, 2 more doors open. A great example was something very similar. Somebody was trying to help me, and it became a really big issue. We finally solved it, but when we solved it, 3 other opportunities opened up because of it. So I wasn't giving up. I was like, I'm going to solve this problem. And by solving that problem, I opened up other opportunities, which weren't there before. And they were opportunities I didn't even think were going to exist. That's how beautiful it is. So it solved my homelessness. It solved my work. It solved cash flow. It solved so many different things just because of that one issue that I wouldn't give up on. And that's what's interesting about prayer. Prayer without action is just nothing. Yeah, you're praying and you're giving thanks and you love God. I need this help. I need help. And there's somebody that's very recent in my life during COVID that was having so many issues trying to find a new career path or a job or whatever it was. And I'm praying without action. What are you doing to further that along? And I don't even know if this quote is in the Bible or not, but God helps those who help themselves. But I think it's in there some other way. Just prayer in itself is not enough. And that's what I had to do here. I couldn't pray my way out of this. No way I could pray my way out of this. No way. It's impossible. Not impossible. I mean, some amazing miracle things happen from prayer. But I truly believe because the actions were there, because I put one step in front of the other, and would not give up, even after the nastiness of March, even after the 4 months of being incarcerated, even after all of the homelessness, even after all of the nasty things that were done to me because of what happened back in January, after all of those things, I could have easily given up and said, I'm going to make sure it sticks this time. But what was showing me, God was showing me the magic of life. Do you really think he's going to let me down? Do you really think he's going to say, no, that's it, Patrick. Back in March, you did what you did. So you know what? You're on your own. Did Jesus do that at any point in the Bible of the New Testament? Did he do that and leave people behind in any way? No. You know who leaves people behind? Humans. You and me. Because we're limited. We leave people behind, yet we call ourselves Christians. Follow and live the way Jesus wanted you to live. Follow and live the life of Jesus. Love people, take care of people. No, we have our limits and we leave people behind. We don't even give it a shot. We don't even try and work it out. We don't do anything like that. We leave people behind. And that's where we need grace. That's where we need God's mercy, and to work our way through that so that we limit that as much as possible. But I'm sitting here as a survivor. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to continue to be accountable, continue to be transparent, but I'm going to do it in a different way. I came out the gate shooting out like a rocket, man, 100 miles an hour. And it's only been a little over 2 months since I've been out and about. and I'm doing all of these various things. I'm in the world of aggregate data. I'm in the world of biometrics and wearables and things like that, and how we can do predictions. There's already a company out there that's doing it in the veteran market, which I'm so excited to get connected with them because of these doors opening and because of previous relationships and because there's certain people out there that care about me and love me. I have got some of the most amazing men in my life that have been absolutely amazing mentors in the last 2.5 months. I'm not going to mention names. That's just between me and them. I'd love to mention their name, and there's going to be some point here soon where those men will be on my podcast and we'll be interviewing and talking about their journey and things that they've experienced, which is phenomenal. It almost makes my situation look small in comparison. But it's a learning journey, and I'm just soaking it up like a sponge. And so just like a marathon runner, and which is the rest of my life is continuing this marathon run, is to slow my pace down. I've been coming out of the gate 100 miles an hour. I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish that. And I got to realize, man, you got to, first of all, get over the loss of the relationship. You got to, first of all, realize that you just survived this nasty suicide. First of all, you survived homelessness. And dudes, I don't know how many of you may have experienced homelessness, bouncing around and hotel surfing, sleeping in your car, sleeping in a conference room, sleeping, on people's couch, whatever, and just bouncing around. It's exhausting, exhausting, but I wouldn't give up because I know I have a purpose, and he answered my prayer, and I'm got a place now that I just never dreamt that I would have. And it is amazing. That's all I've got to say. And I'm excited to pursue that part of my life at this moment. But, so I'm going to slow that down. I'm going to continue to be transparent, continue to be accountable. I want you guys all to know how this journey is going. I want to share that with you because that's important to me. It's also part of my healing, and it's also part of my recovery, because my very good friend Alex, whose podcast room I continue to work in, said to me, you are going to learn an awful lot as you do these podcasts and share your journey, because you're going to learn a lot about yourself. I can't tell you. I was very skeptical. I was, part of my agreement with Williamson County was to do a year of therapy and 6 months of IOP. I don't know if you know what IOP is. It's intensive outpatient, 6 weeks, 3 hours a day, 4 days a week. And I was like, when I first started, I was like, I don't want to do this, man. It's going to be long, boring, structured, just really intense. Let's dig into your mind and find out why you do certain things. It was the farthest from the truth. It was laid back. You've got a half a dozen people in there, all from different backgrounds, men, women, various issues, different things, but one thing in common, we all had suffered some sort of trauma in our life. All of us. I don't care who you are out there listening to this podcast right now. I don't care who you are. You have suffered trauma. And you have some level of depression in your life. You have some level of anxiety in your life. And it was something that I never realized I had until these last 5 years. And I'm like, okay, I'm around it. I understand it better than I've ever understood it before, but I never thought I had it. Lo and behold. But having it and not doing anything about it, it's not like you can do something about it, like get rid of it. It's like, I'm depressed. Get rid of it. I'll never be depressed again. It doesn't work that way. It's allowing yourself to learn how to deal with it and have the tools to handle it when it comes up. Understanding that, you don't have to do it on your own. Understanding that it's just an isolated incident. One of the things I really kind of dug was this whole idea of, I don't know if I'm going to get it right. It's called emotion surfing. I don't think I got the proper wording right, but it's called emotion surfing. So when these big emotions come through your life, it's like this big wave. And so you ride the wave. So too many of us, and I'm guilty, when you're at that peak of emotion, this anxiety peak, this depression peak, this heavy emotion that you're going through, too many of us want to make a decision while we're at the top of that peak. And that's where disaster comes. You make a decision at that wave, you're going to crash, you're going to do whatever, you're going to flip. I don't know. But typically what you need to do is take a deep breath when you're at that peak and let that wave crash and realize you didn't have to do anything. It was just an emotion. It was just a wave of emotions that didn't need action. A lot of emotions that we go through don't need action. That's where we fall apart. That's where things turn into disaster because you overthink it. You think you need to do something and then you fuck it up. You don't need to. So that was one of the things I've learned. I thought the therapy was going to be a disaster. It's been great. Now I'm on this maintenance program where I'm once a week, and it's great. And it's going to last until, mid to 3/4 of next year. I think June is when it's over. And now I'm dealing with the other side of it with her and going through that. And hopefully that goes through as well. And just kind of moves on for both of us. Yeah. So that's where we are. I wanted to share that with you. I love you guys, all of you out there that have helped me so much. I'm excited to go. I'm getting real estate market is still happening. I'm getting into the construction side of things with a very good friend of mine, jumping in, like I said, the biometrics and with the wearables and trying to preventive crisis prevention. There's already a company out there that does it, but we're going to use that platform hopefully and manipulate it toward the direction I want to go through. So lots of stuff to think about and be excited about. And so that is where I'm going to leave this. And hopefully here's one thing I need you all to do. We need to get the message out there. So please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on TikTok. We're going to keep putting this stuff out there, and it's going to get a little bit more interesting because we've got some new logos. We've got some new swag coming. We've got a lot of new stuff coming. A lot of interviews and a lot of things like that. So all of you out there that thought Patrick's demise was real, it's not. I'm thriving and surviving, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. And I wish you all the best. I'll talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.